What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob with a Week 15 preview for the New York Giants versus the Washington Commanders this Sunday night down in Maryland for what is arguably the biggest game of the year for both teams, right? The Giants in their last 4 games are 0-3-1, and this is real opportunity to beat a team that they tied 2 weeks ago to potentially, really lock in essentially a playoff spot. It's an absolute must-win game on the road after we got our asses kicked last weekend by the Eagles. Hopefully we could remove that, burn the tape, move on from it, and kind of leave it where it is and come into this Sunday night game with a fresh mindset, a clear mind. Over the last 4 games, there's been a trend, right, of the good, the bad, and the ugly. There hasn't been all too much good outside of really like Daniel Jones trying to make plays, hit wide receivers who are pretty bad and probably won't, for the most part, will be like lower end guys on teams next year. The bad has been, there's been some issues up front. Daniel Jones has been getting his ass kicked, sacked a lot. The bad also includes the Giants' defense, which has been getting torched. Last weekend they got torched, but obviously Jalen Hurts is up for MVP for good reason, and it was kind of just completely an overmatched area of the game there with the Eagles' passing game versus the Giants' secondary. And then the ugly, which is the most key part here, is Saquon Barkley. Over the last 4 weeks, he's had 1 game where he had 63 yards. But besides that, last week versus the Eagles, he had 9 carries for 28 yards. Before that, in the tie with Washington, he went 18 for 63 and a touchdown. But I feel like during that game, he had 60-something yards in the first half, and I don't know if the Washington Commanders neutralized him in the second half or the Giants just got it away from it from their game plan. And then obviously in that Dallas Thanksgiving game, he had 39 rushing yards. And then the week before, when they got their asses kicked by the Lions, he had 22. So taking that theme of the good and the bad and the ugly, which is an amazing, Clint Eastwood movie, but it really applies to the Giants, especially where they're at now, because when the Giants are good and they can make plays, they can win games. It's really got to come down to their defense trying to stop Washington and really contain Terry McLaurin, who has had such success against the Giants every single time they played. I broke it down in my video preview 2 weeks ago when we played the Commanders for the first time, looking at the Terry McLaurin stats. So if you want to review those stats, they're in that video. So I'm not going to dive into them again, but the Giants' defensive secondary hasn't really gotten that much better or healthier recently. Adoree Jackson's still out. So they have to be creative in figuring out ways to stop Terry McLaurin. Last time the Giants played the Washington Commanders 2 weeks ago, they were able to get to the quarterback. I believe they had 5 sacks and a number of quarterback hits. So we really have to keep rushing the passer again and keep Taylor Heinicke trying to, force throws for him and to not allow guys like Terry McLaurin or Dotson to get downfield and create space, because at the end of that game 2 weeks ago, you saw when Dotson had some space, and there was such poor tackling in the secondary that they were able to tie the game on, a pretty significant bomb. And then also, I think it was Dotson who got open on that 4th and 8 where Taylor Heinicke made a pretty ridiculous throw. And I broke that down in the review. So if you want to go back to that video, you can watch that play, because it was actually a really good throw by Taylor Heinicke. But that's what the Washington Commanders need to do at this point, is get scrappy, make it an ugly game, figure out ways to win by leveraging Taylor Heinicke's legs, and hopefully he has like some big playability for them, because that's really, the crux of their offense at this point. They don't have any tight ends. Their running backs, I believe, are a little bit banged up. So it's really on the shoulders of Taylor Heinicke and, the ability of Dotson and McLaurin to get open and make plays. On the defensive side of things for the Commanders, I believe you're probably going to see Chase Young make his debut. I thought he was going to make it 2 weeks ago against the Giants, but obviously with the bye week in between those games and playing at that MetLife Stadium turf with a guy recovering from an ACL injury previously like Chase Young, probably not the smartest move. So, like I said, hey, the Washington Commanders front office or whatever maybe got a little bit smarter with dealing with, superstar players potentially with knee injuries and nursing them back appropriately. And an absolute must-win game versus the Commanders this Sunday night. Which Giants will we see? Will we see good? Will we see bad? Will we see ugly? I'm sure we'll see some of all 3, but hopefully the good always outweighs the bad and the ugly, and we have to take Saquon from ugly and get him to either bad or good to be successful in this game. I like the Giants getting 5 on the road. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, there was a tie game. So I think the spread is a little bit, too much. But again, this is an absolute must-win game that will decide the fate of the Giants season and if they will potentially get in a wild card spot. And they absolutely have to win this game to have a chance to do that. I know you guys want to see playoff football. I want to see playoff football, and it's all going to start this Sunday night.